Ah, Bangboos. What's not to love about them? They're cute little bouncy fellas and they even fight with you in battles. With the first event in Zenless Zone Zero being about Bangboos, I think now is a great time to make a quick video about some of the smaller quirks about these little fighting boogaloos that can make a big impact on who you choose as your guaranteed S rank. First off, a lot of the Bangboos are very much catered towards specific elemental teams. Their attacks cause a specific element type and build up the anomaly, and typically having 2 units of the matching element in the team help increase this anomaly build-up rate too. But speaking of anomalies, a big meta right now is that of disorders, where you apply 2 different elemental anomalies in order to get a big burst of damage. So what if you were to run a mono element team and have your Bangboo be the second elemental applier? Well, after a minute or 2 of playing Ring Around the Rosie with this enemy here, making sure that only my Rocket Boo was attacking it, you can see that the fire anomaly gauge is completely maxed out, and yet the anomaly hasn't triggered. However, the moment I inflict any fire damage using one of my actual characters, in this case Soldier 11, that is when the burn is applied. So no, even though they can fill the gauge, your Bangboos cannot trigger anomalies. So unfortunately, the dream of mono-element teams with another Bangboo cannot be fulfilled. But what about when the Bangboo is of the same element? If you watched my previous video about anomalies, you would know that the damage caused by the anomaly depends on the contribution to the gauge by the characters. So, in short, if a very strong character fills the gauge themselves and triggers the anomaly, it does a lot of damage. And if a weak character fills the gauge, even if the stronger character triggers the anomaly, it will still do very little damage. And then if each character contributes 50% to the gauge, then the resulting damage is in between the two. But what about the Bangboo's contribution? Now earlier when my Rockaboo built up the gauge by itself and Soldier 11 triggered the anomaly, the burn damage was 1133 damage per tick. Here you can see I'm busy building up the fire gauge with Soldier 11. And once I'm about 75% of the way there, Rockaboo comes in from the top ropes and basically does the rest of that 25%. Now, the enemy is currently stunned, so it is taking 200% damage, but the burn damage is 2332, which when halved is 1166, which is pretty much the same as when it was only the Bangboo contributing to the gauge. So this can be interpreted as, technically speaking, in both scenarios, Soldier 11 was the only agent that contributed to the gauge, so that is as if 100% was from Soldier 11. So you can consider the build-up caused by the Bangboo as literally a free gauge increase. So taking into account these 2 facts, that the Bangboo is 1, unable to trigger elemental anomalies by itself, and 2, that the resulting anomalies damage is not affected by the Bangboo contribution, this may or may not change the priority for some of you for your S-rank Bangboo selection. Firstly, Butler Boo is still a very strong choice because even if it cannot increase anomaly that much, it does provide free energy to the team, although the amount might not seem that great at lower levels because the amount of energy restored is based on the Bangboo level itself. Next, if you're going to go for a Bangboo that helps out with anomalies, I would suggest choosing the element for which you do not have an anomaly character. So in my Piper Lucy Soldier 11 team, I apply both Assault and Fire, or Burn rather, but I'm using the Fire Bangboo one. This is because I can get the team bonus obviously first, and 2, Piper is an anomaly unit already. I do not need any extra help building up the Assault. And with another physical anomaly unit coming soon in Jane Doe, I don't think that choosing the physical anomaly Bangboo would be that great. Another Bangboo I would like to highlight though is that of the Ether type Resonaboo. With Zuyan coming around soon, it will pair very nicely with her and Nicole since they are both Ether units, to help build up the corruption anomaly. And the fact that it is also a slight form of crowd control because it pulls in enemies is just a cherry on top too. Hopefully though you learned something new in this video. As always, liking, commenting and subscribing always helps out a lot. So until next time, bye bye.